Hello, 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 everyone. Hope you all are having a great day. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for your online love and support. Much love. So, hey, Pam, I thought I would just switch this up a little bit because I realized that I have another meeting at 8 o'clock, guys. So that's in an hour from now. What we're going to do instead of getting into the Chris Watts files, because most of those uploads for the polygraph are an hour each kind of thing, I really didn't want to just get into it and have to stop it. So we're going to switch paths, and I'm going to show you and talk to you a little bit about one of my personal experiences that I've survived. So I in Manitoba, there's the Freedom of Information Act, and I was able to fill out an application, and I had some information sent to me on the date that that this incident had happened on. So some of these things may be a little bit disturbing. If you're really sensitive to violence, perhaps you may want to not listen or watch this video particularly. Hello, Nella. Salut, Yvette. Hi, Gigi. I hope you guys are all doing really good. So I started a little bit of the downloading just to show you guys the police report. Of course, the names are blacked out of the perpetrator. As you can see here, it says there was no orders, no orders for the children. There was no social services involved or anything at this point. Always gotten along. So this assault happened back in 2008, and the injuries included swelling to the forehead, bruising to both eyes, bruising on the back, bruising on the left arm, and bruising on the back of the left arm. And photographs were taken of those injuries. So pretty much just like what we're doing with the Watts files, I figured I would do with this. And I hope everybody's having a safe and happy week. I love y'all. Try refreshing your screen, Pam. So this was me in 2008. Love you too, Gigi. This event was pretty dramatic for me. I was thrown across a room into a wall. I was put into a headlock and punched several times. It was not fun to go through it all. I guess I could have allowed this to just define me and given up and whatever then, right? But I chose to carry on and be strong no matter what. No, this was a domestic situation, and this was one of the biggest reasons that my children were taken out of the home. This happened when they were there. My son was trying to protect me, and he grabbed a knife, and he was gonna stab the person who was hurting me, and I just kept trying to calm the situation. And it was within a few days after this incident that my children were taken out of the home. Hey Beth, how are you? Now, what this felt like when it had happened, you guys, is that my entire freaking body was just swollen, like really badly, especially on my head. My forehead got a lot of the impact because I was trying to put my head down so that it wouldn't hit my face, you know? The police officers came to take the photographs like fairly soon after the incident. I believe the next day, you guys. So the wounds had not fully even bruised yet or anything like that. They look like it's very light. Things were very dark after the bruising, started. And I was quite sore from being thrown into the wall. So it was definitely a hard thing to go through. It was certainly very difficult to try to calmness in the situation with my children there. My daughter was literally asleep on the couch when this happened. And like I said, my son witnessed the whole thing, sadly. So it's unfortunate. And like I said, within a few days, my children were taken out of the home, which I'm sure there's a lot of people in the world that can relate to something like that happening and it creating for the family to have to be divided due to what had happened. So if your screens get blurry, folks, try to refresh. It should help. You can see at the top of the screen it says assault. And this is with the Winnipeg Police Service. A lot of the incident has been blocked out with the names and the fact that my children were there and stuff like that. So what it does say, you know what I found shocking actually, and I noticed it in these reports, is that there's, you know how they can flag certain things about people. I remember when I was a teenager, I went to a biker clubhouse for a Halloween party with some friends, and I noticed that in the additional pertinent information about me, first off, they say mental health issues, which isn't true because I've gone for 2 separate psychological analyses. This is, it's funny that they're writing that though, because it's been debunked by 2 different doctors. But then they also state that I have gang affiliation and stuff. And it's saying drugs and alcohol use and that I was pregnant, but I wasn't pregnant. So it's odd how there's some mixed up things in here, but I thought that was kind of odd for them to have that additional pertinent information because I was literally like 29 when this happened, and the only affiliation that I had, in talking to anybody involved in like bikers or anything like that was when I was a teenager. So that was that was just not the case. So I was like, well, that's interesting. So it says here, I was grabbed by the hair, threw across the room, put into a headlock, then struck her in the head and face 5 times, inflicting upon her 2 black eyes, and then threw her face first into a wall, causing a large welt on her forehead. Certainly a traumatic incident that happened, and nothing I would ever want anybody to have to go through. But just because I went through something like that, didn't stop me from continuing on and bettering myself. I wasn't going to allow one thing to happen to pave the way to negativity, right? So quite interesting. Anyways, the information that you do get released to you about you is it's quite neat to kind of see sometimes what people are writing about you. I don't I don't think I even had my first psychological analysis done by that point. So, yeah, interesting. I know for a fact that that's something that's come from my family members. My both my mother and my father have said that in the case of giving me to Child and Family Services when I was 14, 15 years old. And I remember that consistently being in my paperwork, in my reports, and overhearing things like that about double personality and mental health and all this type of issues, right? And I was honestly really bothered because I kept thinking, like, if I'm this messed up and I have all of these things that my parents are trying to say that I have, and like, don't I feel like I would have noticed that something was odd, or that I was switching out of one personality into another and stuff like that. um, Little did I know that, well, and in all honesty, they are the people who created me, right? So, like, if I have all these issues, what's wrong with them that they made me in their seed and sperm, and suddenly I'm the only messed up one out of the thing. So, anyways, years later, I believe I was in my 30s, you guys, when I went for my very first psychological analysis. And after that analysis, the woman told me that I was clear. I did not have absolutely any double personality or bipolar or mental issues. I do suffer from depression due to loss and abandonment issues and stuff like that, but it was cleared completely. And I had asked the doctor, like, would I have noticed? And she said not necessarily. There are some people who are severely mentally ill that don't know, that they even need to take medications until they're prescribed that. But I was quite happy to hear the doctor say, it's not a fact about me. But then at the same time, I questioned it. I was like, could she be wrong? Maybe she's wrong. Maybe I should go for another opinion, right? So I go into a completely different city, a doctor who has no, knowledge. But I mean, the first doctor had no knowledge of me and my past either. And she had debunked it, but then I'm second guessing her. So I decided to go for a second evaluation from someone else. And sure enough, that one comes out completely clear too. And I'm like, well, for crying out loud. And the second doctor said, I'm actually surprised that you're even smiling at all. He said, he's like, you're very normal. You've been through a lot, but no, you don't suffer from the types of things that have been in the paperwork from my parents and my history from my teens, you guys. This is what I've been hearing from my family since I was a teen, that something's wrong with me. And oh man. So I can't tell you how much that bothers me inside, but so much so I had to go and get it checked because it kind of worried me. Like, what do you mean I have all these freaking issues? I feel like I'm a pretty emotional person, and I can get a little volatile and loud, and I can be argumentative, and I'll stress my point, and I'll stand my ground. But I don't think that makes me crazy. I think that makes me a no nonsense, I know what I want type of person. So I think there's a huge difference. But to hear your own parents saying that pretty much all your life is really, really sad. Like, it depresses you on the inside, making you think and doubt yourself that something's wrong with you, when in essence, there really wasn't anything wrong with me. In fact, they're creating for something to be wrong with me by saying that kind of stuff. And that's not healthy or constructive to do to a child at all. And then to put them out of your house and say that, those are some of the reasons is even more so wrong on so many levels. But this is just my side of the story, I guess, right? Some people would strongly say that. One-sided story. I was kind of believing my parents, and it comes to a point when you see it over and over and over on paperwork that you begin to wonder, like maybe that's the reason that my relationships haven't worked out with other people, or that was the reason I had trouble holding down jobs as a teenager, or different things that you're looking for. You're looking for reasoning as to why these things are happening, and you're wanting to validate that. London Calling. Who changed their name? Who is that? Is that Chica? I don't know. But like I said, when you read something about yourself and you hear from social workers and your own parents that that's what they think of you and that's what they're seeing in you, and they're older and smarter and wiser, so you think, well, like, what's wrong with me, right? So, like, to make a child doubt themselves is the complete opposite of what we're going for in life, even right now, right? With all this gender identity and letting people choose who they think they are and stuff like that. When I was growing up, it certainly wasn't. Yeah, London Calling, who are you? I need to know because I didn't place you as a moderator unless you're already one and you've changed your name, but please tell me who you are, London Calling. It is Chica. I guessed it right. Yay. So, like I said, when you read things on paper and I'm somebody who's ordered my like paperwork from my social workers and some experiences in child and family services and in detention center. I ordered a copy of those to see what people were writing about me. And it's sad to see that that's carried on all throughout my childhood, all throughout my teens. And that was the reason for my parents sort of disowning or putting me outside the home kind of thing. And that carried into paperwork over and over and over, sadly. That's funny. You guys should have seen what this looked like days after it had happened, you guys. Like within the week after, I was so black and blue, it was brutal. I didn't even want to, I love taking pictures, and I couldn't even take a picture of myself at all during any of this. So, how is everybody else doing aside from all of this? I'm glad that I got to share a little bit of my past and history with you guys. Yeah, it was a terrible situation to go through, but I'm just happy that's not a current situation at all, And sadly, there are so many people that are dealing with exactly that, abusive situations that are harming them or harming someone they love. And And I mean, this was a long time ago. It was in 2008, you know. It's just sad that, you know, a series of events is what caused me to sort of lose my family. And it was, you know, my own bad choices. I'm not even going to try to blame anybody else, right? It was absolutely the most devastating day on August 1st, 2008, when my children were taken from my home. My son was literally hiding from them because he did not want to leave. He didn't want to go. And I was just, of course, a complete wreck. It was just absolutely devastating. But I understand that I needed to straighten out, and the environment that was going on was not a secure, safe environment for my children to be in. And I completely understand that. You know, I can even admit that, you know, and apologize for it, guys. Like, I would love nothing more than to look at my children in the face and tell them how sorry I am for all my bad decisions. I can't take any of them back because it's the past. So all I can do is hope that one day they'll allow me a piece into their life, that they'll allow me the chance and opportunity to say that. I have come a long way. That's true, Gigi. And I still have a long way to go yet. You know, I work on myself every day to try to better myself. I think it's important, though, right? We have to try to keep a positive mind. And if we could turn back time, no doubt. No doubt. There are so many things I would change. I used to say if I could turn back time, I wouldn't change a thing. It's made me who I am today. But I don't believe that. I think, well, I mean, I believe that it has made me who I am today, but I believe I could be an even better person had I not have made some of the bad choices I made. So you can see the date says 080727, July 27th, 08. And literally a couple of days later, on August 1st, was when my mother showed up with Child and Family Services, and they were there to take the kids. And I sat in her car begging her to not do this, and she said it was only going to be temporary. And by 2012, she was moving them to Ontario. It was not temporary ever, sadly. And now they are no longer even living with them. Yes, stay positive, keep going forward. Very true. My kids, my son was 10 and my daughter was 5. Write heartfelt notes, letters, and keep them safe. They'll soon be adults and realize that no one is perfect. I sure hope they realize that soon. But I can't force it, right? Yeah, it's a hard situation for sure. It's all my fault. Thanks, just Kathy. I would love nothing more than to apologize and be in their life, but I sure don't want to force anybody to be in my life, you know? Hey, Amanda. Yeah, I can totally relate to the not trusting. Totally. I'm so glad, Chica, that you got to meet your child. Is it a boy or a girl? You just said I gave my child up for adoption. Little boy or little girl? Yeah, I pray that too, Yvette. I feel like I have been really patient. It's been 11 years. Like I've missed everything. So, baby boy, nice. My son will be 22 in October. So proud of him and who he's become. I pray every day that they make better choices than I ever made. Like, I hope that they don't go down the same path, you know? I sure can't wait for it either. Your son will be 50 in November. Wow. Love you guys too. Thank you so much for your support. Your online love is amazing. I love your thumbs up. Thank you for all of that. Sometimes I look back and I can see how far I've come, but I can see where I've tripped up a bit too, you know. And I find that the positive mentality of every day is a new day to be the change you want to see in the world is a good way that it's a good way that I live now, you know. I have a routine and I have a solid foundation, and I've worked real hard to build that, you know. Yeah, that's Gigi. I've tried apologizing. Sheesh. I sent an email 2017, you guys. I never got a reply. I've called several times to try to get contact information to the social worker that my daughter is dealing with, and I'm not getting any reply. Her father has also called my parents and tried to get some answers and not gotten a response back either. So I think it's pretty heartless of them to have taken them so far away only to let them float into the world. Like, I don't know. I don't think they should have ever been able to leave Manitoba with my children. This is where Manitoba was where they were born and where they were being raised. And Ontario was my parents' home when they were kids, not my kids' home, but whatever. Yeah, if I could only take back some of the bad choices that I made, try to fix my mistakes, I really would do that. Yeah, I so do have a heart full of love to give them. Thank you for your prayers, Chica. I even pray for my own heart to be softened because some of the situation upsets me too. As grateful and thankful as I am that they had a safe roof over their head, there were some disciplinary actions that happened from my parents to my kids that I would not have approved of had I been there. I I disagreed with some of the things that happened. So it's bittersweet, you know. I think if we would have had a closer relationship to mold the family back together would have been the ideal situation, but that was never a desire at all for my parents. Once I was out of the house, I was out of their life. I was no longer invited to Christmas. I was no longer a part of the family. There was no including me in anything. So it was really difficult to deal with. So it's bittersweet that they had this safe roof over their head with them, but the family's so divided, it didn't help anything and it didn't bring anybody closer together to work on problems together and to support each other and to unconditionally love each other and stuff. Everybody does make mistakes, that's true, and even my brothers have, but yet they can receive forgiveness and keep getting love and support, but I don't. And I just don't understand what the difference is between me and them. When I'm their only daughter, you know, they're their only sons. They have two sons, but like in reality, nobody should have been okay with cutting out the only daughter from the family. It sucks. Like it it just broke the entire family, and I don't understand how that was even okay with anybody. It is what it is, and it is the past, but there's some issues still now in the present that trickled over from the past, right? I just hope that my daughter's safe in the group home that she's in. I hope my son is at least checking on her or visiting her or something, because I'm not sure if my parents are visiting her. I know when I was in a group home, they didn't come to visit me. So, sorry, I'm trying not to get choked up, but I figured I would talking about all this stuff. It's a good thing it's a short live, eh? Sorry, guys. I thought it was a little bit unfair as well, but I don't want to live my life like that. Like, oh, poor me, and it was so unfair. I don't, life's not fair. I got to make the best of it. But it's real hard when you don't have a whole lot of support and your mistakes are what they define you by, you know? That's really not easy to deal with. The family's been so broken for so long, guys. I don't know if that'll ever happen. Oh boy, it's certainly not easy to deal with. I can admit to my wrongs 100%, and you know the things that I did that weren't right. But when you better yourself and that still doesn't matter, it sure makes you feel worthless. That's not a good feeling. Yeah, if I could just get a response from the phone number that was provided to me by my mother for the supposed social worker that is working with my daughter, that phone never rings. Nobody ever answers it. It doesn't matter what time of day or night you call, or weekday or weekend. It's never working. So I don't know what else to do. I've phoned them and left messages, and I've asked for the information to contact the social worker and see about contact with my daughter. It really shouldn't involve them, but I don't have the information. And so maybe I could go to the CFS office out here actually, and get them to look into the computer system or something. Maybe they'll have something. Maybe that'll be my next step, because I there's no way for me to find her. Nobody's speaking with me, so they haven't for years. Yeah, I'm always trying to figure out new ways. I search for them on social media and stuff. I am not included, so yeah. Well, I wish that they thought that though, just Kathy, because I'm not sure that they think that. Actually, I know they don't think that. Their actions prove it. Actions speak louder than words, right? Perhaps, Yvette, that would be wonderful. I don't even know how I would put it all into words of how sorry I am for the mistakes that I've made that caused the family to have to be divided like this. But all I can say is like I'm sorry, and I really want to be in your life. Hopefully they hear and see this. Thank you, Gigi, you're a sweetheart. It's been a long road, I'm not gonna lie. There's been a lot more downs than there has been ups, but I've managed to create the ups and lose the downs. Like I've literally walked away from everybody who I ever thought was a friend. You're cute, Chica. I hope you're right, just Kathy. I really do. I love you guys for your support, your online encouragement. It's just seriously irreplaceable. It's so valued by me too, you guys. Like, I appreciate that you are here for me and that you do listen and you do help and you do use your suggestions. I love your online hugs, your hearts and flowers and prayers. It's so sweet of you guys, for real. No, I believe my son is buying his first home, and I believe he had moved out a while ago with some friends. Promise you your babies will be in your purse, sweet. Thank you so much, Amanda. It's probably been one of the hardest things to ever deal with because it's my fault. After giving birth to these beautiful children and promising them that nothing bad would ever happen to them. I guess that was too big of a promise to come from somebody so human like myself, right? I mean, for real. But I feel like I failed. I didn't fully do my job properly, and that's just one of the hardest things to have to swallow is it's my fault. It's all my fault. If I could just change the past. Yeah, I don't have an address, sweetheart. She moved out of my parents' house into a group home or foster home. But I love them very much. I miss them so much. And I truly hope that one day we can all come back together. Yeah, I wonder, hey? Hey, Sparkle, I'm so glad you could make it. But yes, if I could just turn back that clock and make different choices. Sure was stupid, though. So I appreciate all of your guys' online love and prayers, kisses and hugs, flowers and everything. You guys are so sweet. I'll get there somehow, yeah. Somehow, some way. To hug and help. Well, thank you, sweetheart. I appreciate your online love and just your support and commentary and encouragement is irreplaceable to me. So I thank you guys for that. My daughter is she was in Welland, Ontario. I don't know how central, eastern, northern, southern Ontario that even is. I've never been there. I've only been to Niagara Falls and St. Catharines. So, but yeah, my parents had moved to Welland, Ontario. Pretty far from you then. Yeah, I don't know about social media, girl. I've been looking, but I haven't found And my son has kind of made the choice that when he's ready, he'll talk to me. So I don't want to push it or force him. The kids will come back and knock at your door one day. I hope you're right, Sparkle, and I sincerely appreciate your online support and encouragement. I couldn't do this without you guys. I completely appreciate your online support and encouragement. I sure have come a long way from this person who you see in front of you here. One day I pray that they do come back. Yes, Pam, that is true. They will see you on your chat, maybe. Maybe, yeah. I've been starting to put a lot of my little pictures or quotes or posts public, especially on Facebook and stuff, because if you only have it set to your friends, nobody else will really see it, right? So, this is a photo of me, Riverdale Tales, in 2008. After an abuseful situation that had my kids taken out of my home, that I'm still dealing with 11 years later. Two-week vacation. Nice. Very nice. Whoop, whoop. It was a domestic situation, Riverdale Tales, of an assault that sadly my son witnessed and tried to help save me from. I'll never ever forget that day. My whole world was changed and turned upside down. So I appreciate all of your online support and love, folks. Oh, I'm going to let you guys go. We will be back on Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time. I know that this was a little bit of a sadder video, but if you support me, please give it a like and show me that. If you're new to my channel, hit that subscribe button. We do all kinds of true stories here. This particular one is a survivor story of mine. I thank you all for your prayers, your support, your thumbs up are amazing, you guys. And I'll see you guys again soon for another true story with me, Sherry Wiens. I know, we always get some haters, Pam, unfortunately. It does make me sad. There goes another one. Of course, someone's going to put one up now. It doesn't matter. What matters is having my children in my life and being a better person than what I have been in the past. You're cute. Thank you, Pam, for sticking up for me. Love you, girl. I hope you guys all have a safe and happy rest of the week, and I'll see you on Sunday at 7 p.m. Central Daylight Savings Time for another true story, and we'll continue with the Watts case opening of files. Much love, guys. Thank you again.